Hey there, this is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and today I'm going to show you a recipe that I actually made in 2017. And the pictures are a little off and the audio's a little off, so just kind of stick with me on this as we go through learning how to make an onion pie. Now, an onion pie or onion tart is a German dish. And I learned about this when I was over in Germany teaching, and the team brought in this onion tart on a Friday afternoon for a special program. Now, unfortunately, they served the onion tart cold, and I found that it wasn't very tasteful. However, in my mind, I knew that if I ate it warm, it would be great. Now, in this video, I've got two recipes. So the first part is actually the onion tart I made in 2017. And then in the second half, I'm going to give you a little bit of updates of things that I added to the tart and couple of things that I changed. Now, the difference is the type of onions I used in the first tart versus the second, and an additional ingredient that I added to the second tart that I felt made it taste a lot better. So let's get started. Well, of course, to have an onion tart, we've got to start with onions. And so the recipe calls for approximately 2 pounds of onions. In this recipe, I use white sweet onions. And I have one of those lavalier kind of things, and I sliced it up very small. Okay, so we have our onions all sliced up. I have approximately 3 tablespoons or more of butter, but about 3 tablespoons of butter. So now I'm going to saute the onions till they're nice and translucent. I'm going to put my, I'm going to put it on low, on the number 4 here for me on my electric range. All right, so and it'll be a slow simmer because when you do it nice and slow, not super slow, the onion sweetness comes out, a lot of the flavor comes out. And so I'm going to do that, and I'll tell you approximately how long it took me to do this when I'm finished. I'm not going to bore you watching me stir and saute. I'll take a couple pictures while I'm doing this. Well, I turned off on this one because it was really noisy. And excuse the background noise, I didn't realize it was there. But this is what the sauteed look like. Now, at this time, I am taking 4 eggs and I am whipping them up in the measuring um, cup. And I added a half a cup of this Daisy sour cream. You whip that all up in with the eggs and the sour cream, and that becomes your base. It calls for cardamom, but I didn't have any cardamom, so I did my go-to. I did a little Italian seasoning in it. And then you go through the process of mixing your egg and sour cream and spice mixture in with your onions. I picked up the Marie Callender deep dish pie crust. Now, the recommendation is to make sure that it's like a 10-inch and not a 9-inch because it's not quite enough to handle everything. So you pour all the ingredients into the pie crust, just like you do any other pie filling. And on this one, I put some bacon slices on top because somewhere in the recipe I remembered about the bacon. So you cook it at 450 degrees, anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes. You test its doneness by sticking a toothpick in the middle, and if it comes out dry, then it is fully cooked. Okay, This is it's a little shaky, so forgive me. But this is what it looks like when it came out of the oven. So somewhere along the line, I forgot to cut the piece and show you what it looks like in the inside. But just think about a custard. Now with this, I took it and divided into quarters. At this sitting, I ate 1/4 and I put the other 3/4 into the freezer, individual packets, so that I could pull it out and heat it up when I need it, because this is basically cooking for one. So, and to reheat, you just put it in the oven with no cover because you want some of the moistures to go, and heat it up for about 10 or 15 minutes. You can also use the microwave. I use a cover over it when I use the microwave. But in essence, this was just sweet because I used sweet white onions in this one. So it was really delicious and reminded me of quiche. Just, instead of cheese and, you know, onions and, bacon and all that. This is just like a quiche. So I told you there were two different recipes here. So this is the second time I made it just recently. And I chopped up some bacon and sauteed it and got it nice and brown and so nice and crispy because I decided to put it in the onions this time. Also, I separated the eggs and I whipped up the egg whites. Here's the egg yolk. And then I made the cream, well, the sour cream and the egg yolks together. And then put in the bacon into the onions and stirred those up. And then I added the egg yolk and sour cream and mixed that up. And then I added the egg whites. I don't like making it this way. It was a little messy and it just didn't do like the original one when I mixed up all the eggs and the egg yolk and everything together and mixed it in. But this is what it looked like when I completed the mixture and put it in. Also, the difference was I used yellow onions this time, and they were not as sweet. So the flavor was a lot different. So if I had to, the next time I make it, I'm going to make it with the white sweet onions. I'm bacon into the mix and make it. But both are very good. Either way you want to do it, you can. I'll put the recipe down below. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and try it. You will definitely like it.